All right. What's going on, everybody, man? Welcome back. So today we are welcoming in Ball Nation. All right, man. So we're gonna be talking a white and orange spring game. Again, I was not on tap. I was not on obviously campus to see this. I was at Georgia Tech in their spring practice and spring stuff. But like I told you, I'm gonna keep y'all prepared. And I'm gonna be covering Tennessee all season long. Them, Miami, Texas, Georgia Tech is gonna be the main four, and obviously we're gonna have Alabama and Georgia kind of getting swayed in there too, man. But we're gonna react to the spring game and everything that stood out. But let's go ahead and start off the show off the right way. Make sure you guys like, comment, subscribe. Y'all follow me at Najeh Wilk on all platforms to keep staying in now, obviously with Tennessee and everything else. But we're gonna start with the play of the day, man. And the play of the day goes to Javin Gordon, right, for Tennessee. I think he made a lot of paper with this run that he had, obviously today. Credit to Ryan Sylvia from Rocky Top. Good. But as you guys can see here, man, I mean, just the contact balance, right, is what you guys are seeing here. Boom, right there, just being able to break that tackle from the defender, and a pretty good day from the defense, right there, and it's a great effort by the defender, right, because he tried to go low and he tried to get his leg, which usually what you're doing, usually that's going to bring him down. But this sheer will, sheer balance, obviously from Javin Gordon to be able to bounce off that tackle, and then he takes it completely the distance, man. One of the biggest plays of the game, in my humble opinion, and he's been able to showcase what he can do. And remember, he is from Stevens County, out here in, I don't want to say the name wrong, but Toasoa, I believe, Georgia. But it's big because Tennessee's still kind of like having that competition at that running back two spot. It's a little bit, I won't say unknown. We know it's going to be Deshaun Bishop, but is it Justin Baker? Is it Javin Gordon? And if you're Javin Gordon, this is huge for you because now you're emerging as a guy that can be running back two for the Tennessee Vols, right? So big time effort, big time play, and that was the play of the day, in my humble opinion, and one of the best plays all day long for Tennessee. And if you're Gordon, you got to be excited because you showed the coaches what you can do, and obviously you're going to see the field a whole bunch. So major effort there, obviously from Javin Gordon. All right, more on the hot topics and news. We got to talk about Chaz Coleman, right? Josh Heupel talked about the latest when it comes to him and obviously his status. This has been one of the biggest concerns right now coming out of spring ball with Tennessee because he's supposed to be a guy, right? Remember, they spent a good amount of money. I don't know the exact number on him to bring him from Penn State to come down and play for the Tennessee Volunteers, right? But there's been so much stuff going on. Some people are saying he's homesick. Some people are saying he's not dedicated. He's not committed. There's a lot going on with this Chaz Coleman situation. But Josh Heupel obviously offered some clarity in his presser today. And we're going to go with the summary of Joey Peterson. Obviously, when he updated, he says, ultimately, Chaz is dealing with some things off the field. He's got to handle that and go through that process. We're here to help and support him in all of those ways, and we'll continue to do that. First off, you got to love that your head coach is supporting you in this way and is, I don't want to say putting you at the forefront or putting you first, but he is doing everything in his power to make sure that you feel good, make sure you feel comfortable, and to make sure that whatever you're going through, we're here to support you, right? When you're at your lowest, when you are not at your right mind or whatever it may be that you have going on, we're going to be here to support you. You don't always see that with programs, but I will say I don't know the Tennessee program in depth enough to know like kind of how the culture is and everything. But from the outside looking in, it feels like Coach Heupel constantly does that with his players, right? And he's always putting them first, always thinking about them, and always trying to obviously put them ahead. So people can say certain stuff about the Boo Carter situation, everything that happened, but it feels like on the outside looking in, he tries to look out and he puts up with a lot, from his players and make sure that you can get on that football field and you can play for him and you can make the most out of your career. And I think we're seeing it again right here with Chaz Coleman, obviously, as he mentioned. So that's a hot topic. But that is the latest, obviously, on that situation. Great reporting by Joey Peterson, and obviously great job by addressing that from, obviously, Coach Heupel. All right, now we got to get into more. And shout out to Rocky Top Insider. They do a great job. But we got to talk more about this situation at the quarterback spot because you've seen some good things and some bad things, right? You've seen Ryan Staub had a couple of nice plays in there. You've seen some misreads. You've seen some overthrows today from George McIntyre. You've seen some plays that Faison Brandon missed. Like it was a kind of mixture of everything, right? You've seen some good, you've seen some bad, but to me, my biggest takeaway is nobody really separated themselves when it comes to obviously this quarterback room, right? And there's more work to do, in my humble opinion, when it comes to the quarterbacks, right? And I think he wants the position to be much better. You know what I'm saying? Than what it is currently as it is right now, as he's kind of alluding to here, quarterbacks included, to be a lot better when they come back and we start in August, right? So I think he wants them to take this mental preparation. He obviously talked about in his presser, you know what I'm saying, guys being able to know the defensive side of the ball and just, knowing how to prepare and all that good stuff as some key parameters, right? So I think Heupel is he feels okay, but I wouldn't say satisfied with this room. He wants it to obviously be much better. But here is more of a Rocky Top insider says this on the young quarterback room. See if you guys can see that. Hold on. Okay, so he says, well, not everything, but you never accomplish everything. But I do love the growth from that group. I love the way that they competed with themselves, with each other. I love the way that they've grown every single day. Each of them had a day where it was a little bit below what they had shown in their expectations too. They were on it and came back the next day and were a lot better. So there's a lot of positives, a lot of things that they and we have to work on as a football team. But I like the work that they've put in and where they're at. Now we got to continue to grow here. We got 4 weeks before we break from school, and then we get back to our summer schedule and the routine that they have to go through to continue to grow and expect everybody on this roster, and the quarterbacks included, to be a lot better when they come back. And we start in obviously August. So that excuse me is what the quarterback had to say about the room, how he's feeling. But this key part right here, I want to obviously highlight. Oh, hold on, what happened, y'all? I'm sorry. This is the part I want to highlight. This right here. How can they separate themselves, what I'm saying, from the pack? How can you separate yourself from the competition? And basically, he says each of them have to be on their journey of building and mastering their fundamentals, technique, ownership, and scheme. And that's what we do. And then mastering what's happening on the other side of the ball, as I talked about earlier. So that is how you can separate yourself. And it feels to me right now, nobody is still really separating themselves. This is still kind of in lieu. This is still kind of, what I'm saying, up for grabs, up in the air. We got to see what kind of happens, what I'm saying, to be 100% honest on this quarterback room, right? So to me, they're still figuring it out, right? Which is good. If you phase out Brandon, you made some nice plays today. You made some nice plays to, Travis Smith Jr., right? You made some nice play with your legs, keeping plays alive. So you showcase that athletic ability. If you're George McIntyre, you felt a little more seasoned today, right? Obviously, you had some missed throws and things like that, but you know this scheme, you know this system, you know what Coach Hype is looking for. You got a year of development. And then if you Ryan Stahl, right, you're the veteran of the group, right? Have played at several different stops, so you know what it takes in order to be successful. So it's very interesting. I would still say I think all three are I'm saying, still kind of weighing it out, battling it out. But I don't think anybody has really separated themselves. And one more key thing I want to talk about with what Coach Heupel said, obviously in his interview is, I think he's looking at the receivers, and Braylon Staley said it best. Like, yeah, there's more pressure on us because we want to make sure we do everything possible for our quarterbacks to make sure that they're good. But remember, Mike Matthews didn't really play in this game, right? We've seen Travis Smith Jr., we've seen which is Rodarius Jackson, and obviously Staley. But they're going to be the key piece for this Tennessee group. They're going to be the key players that help these quarterbacks kind of come along and do the things they need to do and be able to stand out and be able to take that next step forward, right? Again, easier said than done, but you have a really good weapon group. And I think they did right by not letting Mike Matthews push too much, right? Big junior season coming up for him. If he balls out, he could potentially be, drafted in the NFL draft. Allow him to kind of work things out. But he did say in the presser, y'all can go back and watch it, he wasn't as satisfied with the separation from wide receivers. You know what I'm saying? And it felt like that was something that he wanted to see kind of more of. So a tad bit concerning, but at the same time, you didn't have your playmaker Mike Matthews on the field. So still time to kind of figure those things out. But once more separation, better releases, and obviously better route running, when you peel back the tea leaves of what he's kind of saying, obviously with that group. So that's kind of how the offense is looking. Says some things he wants to get cleaned up on the offensive line, a couple of, misreads, a couple of things, protection issues that they're going to have to clean up. Obviously that he didn't like second half of the game when the defense started dominating. So those are some things to kind of obviously watch out for. Ethan Davis, solid, what I'm saying, making some nice plays, in the tight end room and doing his thing. Now let's go to defense. Now, defensive wise, I can't lie to y'all. Jordan Norman, he had himself a game. Right now, remember, this is the Tulane transfer, right? So he comes over, and I think somebody said he had 3 sacks today, right? And that's massive when you have a guy like Chaz Coleman who's not there, right? You have a guy that has not played, what I'm saying, and you don't know the status of him. This was a big hit for them, what I'm saying, coming over, obviously, from, what I'm saying, the group of 5 level. And obviously, it's a team that, was able to make obviously the CFP playoffs. So he's played in big games. He's won big games. But that's massive. Because if you Tennessee, you want to find excuse me, that pass rush up. And Coach Heupel even said he felt pretty good. He felt like the pass rush was good today, right? And obviously felt he put the pressure on the offensive line, and that is exactly what you want. So Jordan Norman having this kind of day, if you coach Hypo, you feel good, right? Still got to fix some different contained things, obviously with the Javin Gordon, obviously big time run and clean up some things there. Obviously had a big bust in the secondary today as well, as he mentioned in his press conference. So you got to work those things through. But like he said in his presser, he felt like for the most part they have not had that. They have not had busts. They have not had big plays given up by the secondary and things like that. But it's I don't want to say old group. It's kind of like right in the middle. You got some old guys, you got some young guys in there. TJ Metcalf's in there. You got Ty Redmonds, the Dylan Lewises of the world, right? The Edris Farouk. Like you got a good blend. You just need to see it a little more consistently. I think is one of the biggest things when you think about that. Obviously in the secondary room and everything they got obviously going on. But you know what I'm saying? That is going to be a group to continue to watch to see their growth, their progression, how much they get better. But a really great day, I think, for Tennessee fans. If I'm humbly honest, I think they got every bang for their buck. And like I said, Ball Nation, y'all is crazy. And for those that don't cover Tennessee, Alexa, stop. For those that don't cover Tennessee, man, I gotta say, like, you guys are really missing out. You guys are really missing out of not covering Tennessee. You know what I'm saying? Because it's a fan base, man, that goes crazy. And I just want to show you guys, for example, of how crazy they are, right? Like, this is for a spring game. We're gonna go ahead and see if we can pull it up higher. Like, is it full, guys? No. But to have that many people in attendance to want to watch your team play, to want to watch, see what you have coming up this upcoming season, to get kind of a preview and a glimpse of what's going on, that's pretty good, man. Like I said, there's nothing like Rocky Top. I think I've never been. I would love to go one day, but it feels to me the fandom there is just a different breed, man. And these fans go crazy. And once you can create a fan base, you know what I'm saying? Like how you have with Tennessee and you get players to come back, like Alvin Kamara giving a philanthropic gift, you know what I'm saying, and trying to help kind of usher in a new generation of athletes. We know obviously, you know, they just signed a massive, I think, 10-year deal, you know what I'm saying, with Adidas, if I'm not mistaken. So, you know, I think Tennessee's doing the right things for their fans. I know some people said the ticket sales have went up, but the fans obviously love the Vols. Vol Nation's a different breed, and you see that they're showing up consistently for their team over and over and over again. And to have that kind of attendance for a spring game, to me, that says a lot, man. What they're building out there at Tennessee. So I just want to show you guys that. And then obviously today, like I said, this was the Travis Smith Jr. Or mute that. But like you said, I mean, really good, just to kind of close this out. Really good separation here. Obviously, the quarterback is playing off, as you guys can see there. But see Travis kind of attack it, kind of settle into it, and know that it's zone because he's kind of covering this area right here and know that this backer is here. And then look at Travis just go, get inside the zone, nice strong hands, take the contact and the hit, and be able to make a nice play. I can't wait to see what he does this year and his development, man, because he could be a big time player for them. Travis is about a good 6'4", man, but he's a special kid, man. So if he's able to, you know, have a season we think he can have, potentially dangerous, man. 100%. And then we got a little bit of Tristan Keys. Still got to work. Still got to work on the route running a little bit, you know what I'm saying? But it was nice to see the 5-star player, you know, things that he's able to do. Obviously, right there, just a little warm up, nothing too crazy, man. But he's young, y'all. You know, you got to give him time, you know what I'm saying, and different things like that. So can't wait to see what they do on the Rocky Top, man. Obviously, great team, great program, great, you know what I'm saying, fans. But that was most of the layers I peeled back, obviously, from the group. And I think, you know, obviously, when it comes to, you know, some things they said, obviously with McIntyre, just working on his footwork, right? Kind of like not falling into old habits, you know what I'm saying, and correcting those habits so that you could be ready for your team and you could take that step forward. But I think overall, we've seen some nice things, some things to clean up. Quarterbacks got to be more accurate, got to throw some better balls for some of the receivers. And I think the receiver room, like how good this team's gonna be, because we know that they're gonna be able to run the ball as good as last year. It's kind of a TBD. We're gonna find out and see, but they have a really good running backs coach. But the key to this team is can these wide receivers help out these quarterbacks, right? And it's gonna come down to, I think, the yak yardage, right? Because sometimes you might have to throw those screens, sometimes you might have to throw those digs, you know, those outs, and then be able to take that the distance, be able to take that 5, 10 yard play, excuse me, 50, 60 yards, 70, 80 yards, right? And who knows? Whoever is going to be QB1, they might be able to hit on those deep balls. But remember, the deep ball percentage is not very high, regardless of whatever you look at. The NFL, you look at obviously college football, even high school, it's not high. So they're going to have to hit on I think, the intermediate, Ethan Davis, the tight end room, those kind of things, man, in order to kind of take that next step forward for these quarterbacks. But we're going to see. It's going to be a story to follow, but I don't think the QB position is not going to be resolved until fall camp, if I'm humbly honest. And then I would be remiss if I didn't close out today's show without obviously talking about the kickers. I think they have a really good kicking room, and they did a thing today. So I want to give them a quick shout out as we kind of close out the show. Let me see. Here we go. Cooper Ranvier, as you guys can see, man, just hitting a long field goal, doing this thing, man. Obviously, and Coach Heupel talked about being able to hit those pressure kicks. They have those pressure kicks in practice, but Cooper Ranvier, Troubleville, they did their thing today, man, and they looked really good kicking the football at a high level for the Tennessee Volunteers, man. But there y'all have it, man. That is my reaction to the spring game, and everything that Tennessee obviously has going on. I'm gonna try to, like I said, have videos, man, at least every week when it comes to Tennessee. Any big news I see for sure. But again, remember, I'm reporting all the way from Atlanta. I'm not reporting in Knoxville or in Tennessee, but it's not that far, but that's kind of how I'm reporting. But any news I see, any big developments, anything like that, I would definitely be doing videos on. Like I said, I would be covering throughout the season. Whatever they have going on, we're going to be talking about it on my shows on Wednesday. So y'all stay tuned for that. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, and I will see you guys in the next one, man. I always appreciate y'all love and support, man. But if you Vol Nation and you love the Vols, man, y'all make sure y'all follow me, man, because I'm covering them all year, covering recruiting too, as well. Any top guys they get, I'll be covering that and doing instant reactions to that. So y'all stay tuned. Till next time, y'all enjoy the rest of y'all day, and I will see y'all soon. Peace.